Welcome everyone, today I have a new guide for Diablo 4. Now looking behind me, I'm doing some damage testing, and yes, firstly I will show you guys the ability to stack more attack power and also to deal more damage. And what you're going to see is not only we can easily hit 15,000 attack power on my Barbarian, I can also hit about 19 million, 20 million very easily with this particular build. So in this video, of course, we're not going to just test on world difficulty 4, right? I'll show you guys a bit of footage with the tier 68, tier 70 dungeons as well, with the nightmare dungeons. And what I really want to do is, I want to show you guys what to do after level 90. So here you can see, hitting over 11 million, 19 million. It's very straightforward with the Barbarian build, but there's a lot of things I want to show you guys. So here you can see I've written some notes of the to-do list after level 90. So there's a lot of things you could be doing to increase your survivability, increase your damage, and also increase your overall enjoyment in the game. And I have broken this down into several parts for you guys to look into the timestamps. So we talk about getting more gears, getting better rears, getting the right effects, getting more glyphs, and everything included in Endgame. Now just to show you guys over here, you can achieve a really good power in Endgame. So this is a tier 68 dungeon, and I've showed this build in the previous videos for my Barbarian. Notice that we pretty much two-shot most of the elites, and this is a suppression elite. So that means they take less damage and also it effects, right? So we're very powerful in terms of the build for most of the classes if you do this correctly. And this is one of the highlights I want to be sharing with you guys. Now coming over to our notes. What I do is, if you guys want the notes, I'll see if the guys at Mobilityx can put this up on the internet for you guys to have a look in terms of article guide. And let's get into it. So firstly, we're going to briefly talk about the things that can get you started, and those are quite basic. But after that, I want to focus on things in more details. So first of all guys, if you're following a build, and if it's my build, anybody else's build, make sure the build is up to date. Sometimes there have been nerfs to the Twisting Blade Rogue. So this is why the previous video, we had a Twisting Blade Rogue that did not use a cooldown reduction. We used the Daz with Twisting Blade, and this allowed the Rogue to permanent stun most of the bosses, which is incredibly strong. There's also a new build for the Barbarians, and also there's a slight nerf to the Druid, so make sure you're aware of this one. Now on the topic of a new build, I'm also testing a few things out. I want to show you guys that I'm doing more damage with Grump Stomp that provides me with an 11% damage boost, and this can go even further up to 15%. I'm still looking for the legendary aspects, and once this is tested, I'll share with you guys. So similar to most build, it is quite important for you to understand the skill rotations and also combos for your build. If you look at our previous videos, a lot of my build and also my combinations, I want to share with you guys a skill combo. Notice here I will first Grunt Stomp to stun enemies, and then when they stunned, they will take tremendous more damage from my build. And this is quite important. If you're not aware of your build orders and also skill rotations, this will be a little more difficult. So over here, you can see that with the right combination of the setup, I can deal 6 million, 8 million damage. But if I don't do the right combination, I'll be doing 50,000, maybe 500,000, but this won't go over the millions. So it's very important for you to know the combos, and this happens for most of the build. So if you follow a builds guide, and I'll make more builds for each of the classes, I'll always talk about the combos and also skill rotations for you guys. Now we have talked about this in the previous videos, so just a brief reminder guys, you want to be leveling up your core glyphs to level 15. So the order of getting the glyphs is to get everything to level 15 first for the ones we're using, and then go for level 20, and then go for level 21. And in our previous videos, our viewers are like, how come we don't get everything to level 21? You can see I start to get the glyphs level 21 now, and some of them are still 20. So the best efficient use of your experience is to go to all 15, 20, then 21, and this is the best use of power game. And of course guys, in case you are still missing, make sure you get the 20 Paragon points from the 5 renows for each of the regions. Now coming over to the second part of the video. So here we're going to talk things in more details. Now one of the few things I realized some of my friends and also my viewers and my claimants have been making a small mistake is that they're not using the right affixes on their rare gears. So what I mean by that is, I'll show you guys how to get more rare gears very soon. Most of the gears over here are imprinted by legendaries, and they started as a rare gear. And this allows us to roll into some really powerful stats and also abilities and also combinations for the highest damage boost. So notice here, what I'm trying to say is the right FX rolled on the rare gears is more powerful than a level 800 plus power item. So notice that most of my items are not 800. This is 749, this is like 785, and this boost is 733. So a lot of items are not 800 in terms of item power, but they have the right stats. Now over here, our good friend Aka has a bit of examples. So he was very confused with a lot of rings. Notice that he's keeping legendary rings and they have really high item power. And there's a lot of items he's been keeping, but notice the right affix was not there. Most of the affix have maybe 2 right affix, but the other ones are not correct. And one thing about the rare items compared to legendaries is that if you're rolling on legendaries, it will cost you the double amount of gold to be rerolling on those. So what I want to do is, on the next video, I want to make a detailed rerolling guide because it's crazy how much gold you can be losing from rerolling. So what you want to do with most of your affix is, you start with 2 of the correct affix. Notice that most of my affix are correct with 3 affix, and I reroll the 3rd one. Now you don't have to start off with this right away, you can start with 2 of the correct affix. So I'm getting more damage reduction for my pins. If I get 2 damage reduction, it's good. If I can get 3 or 4 or with armor, that's incredible. So you start with 2 of the right affix, then you reroll a little bit. Now wait for the reroll guide before you spend too much gold. And this way, I can easily get some ideal stats on my chest, on my, on my pens, it's chest and chest, on my pens to get some really good damage reduction. And this will keep you alive in the endgame. Because not only you want to do more damage, you also want to stay alive. Now one thing I really want to stress out is having the right affix damage on your weapon is ideal. So for most weapons, you can go with critical damage, vulnerability damage, and also priming stats. Now of course, if you're going with a certain build, you can still go with core spell damage, close or range damage, or even class specific critical damage. Most of the time, critical damage, vulnerability damage, and even more critical damage is the best ones on the weapons. Now, in case you guys are still short on survivability and also more damage, you can use some of the potions. Now, the potions in the game are incredibly strong. So here you can gain 15% critical chance, and this will boost my overall damage by at least 20%. And here you can gain critical chance, critical damage. And here you can gain 900 armor within 30 minutes. And finally, you can get 30% lucky hit chance. So those are really incredibly strong potions you can be crafting in the game. One thing to do is, if you're short on the herbs, exchange herbs for something else. And of course, if you guys haven't seen the last tab, you can be getting some hefty amount of stat boost in terms of, so this is the instant. With the instant, you can be getting a hefty amount of stat boost for your whole party. But be aware guys, if you're making the instant and also using this, if the player with the instant dies, you'll lose the buff. Now coming over to the 3rd part of the video. So over here, one of the questions I had is, hey man, I'm running out of legendary aspects to be extracting for imprinting for my new gears after level 90 or after level 100. Well, one of the best ways for you to be getting more legendary gears is actually to farm the Helltide event zone. We have had multiple video guides on farming Helltide. I'll have the links available for you guys. So ideally, you're farming Helltide with 2 to 3 events back and forth. And this allows you to get a lot of legendaries and lots of forgotten souls, which will be essential for crafting. And with the opals you get, if you use our gambling Excel, which I have the links attached to you guys, you are going to get a lot of better rates because I'll tell you which of the best items to be gambling for any part of the legendary aspects you want to have. And this is quite important because if you're going for a sword, you're getting double the rate compared to if you're going for a ring for the offensive codex. For the offensive aspects, I keep mixing those two. And of course guys, if you're playing Helltide or playing Legion events, try to find one that has them together, and this will give you tremendous benefits in terms of the double loots from the monsters. Now coming over to the last part. I know guys, the video is a little short because I have a lot of comments saying, man, make the video shorter. I'm trying to squeeze down the video, but I'll give you guys a summary at the end of the video. So if you're still having trouble getting your gears together, one of the best ways to be, getting more gears is consider trading on the Discord. We do have a Discord channel for trading, and here there's an official Discord channel for trading. So if you want to come over to our Discord, we have a Discord here. You can see there's a lot of trade. People are selling items and buying items over here. Now, if you come over to the official Discord, you can also be buying certain items for your class. We have talked about this previously about selling. Let me briefly show you guys about buying, and this will be very quick, don't worry. So let's say if I'm going for 2-handed mace for my barbarian. You type in the keyword, you select your class, and you're going to see the latest post. Usually you want to go for a post that is posted within 1 or 2 hours, or maybe a few minutes. Here you got to see the post and also image of the items you're looking at. Make sure the affix are correct, don't get baited by the item power, and then try to find a bargain for those items. Notice that this particular mace is pretty powerful, and this is only selling for 5 million gold. So you can be selling items here, or you can be buying some best item for your build over here. Now I know guys, Buying and also selling and trading is not for everyone, so I don't want to take away the enjoyment of your finding your best items. So there's no rush when you're buying items, and there's no rush to bid for items for, millions of gold. We had a video a maze was selling for 500 million gold. So the key of trading is try to not rush in buying item with auction bidding. Because before you know it, I was bidding an amulet over 20 million gold, and that was crazy. And I stopped. And in the end, I bought the amulet for 5 million gold. So remember to direct message the seller and try to get a discount or try to sort out a deal instead of trying to bid and also get overpaid with items. Now for more detailed guide on trading and also getting more gold, I've made over 100 million gold using this method. So make sure you check out the previous guide about trading. It's quite important for us to understand trading is optional. You don't have to do this, you're not forced to do this, but in the next video, we'll talk about opportunity cost. Let's say if you're selling an item, you get 3 million gold, 5 million gold, 10 million gold very easily. But if you sell those in the store or salvage those items, you're losing a lot of value. So over here as a summary to this video. So what you want to do after level 90, after level 95 or after 100 is that you want to be farming for nightmare dungeons to level up your glyphs to level 15. You also want to find the updated build that you have the right skill rotations and also combos. Now while looking at the build, you should also have the maximum 20 paragon skills. And while you're building your build, your item affix must be correct. Don't get baited by high item powers that's over 800. A lot of people just look at the green numbers with armors and go for those. Don't get baited by those. Make sure you follow our guide or any of the guide with the correct affix. Try to have at least 2 of the 4 correct affix at the start, because it's very costly to have 3 of the correct ones. Now you can be using a lot of a farming guide with Hell Tide with different events to be farming more legendary affix. And this is what I plan to do to get this one to the 15% maximum bonus damage for this particular build I want to try. And finally guys, trading is optional. If you want to look into trading, it opens up a new content for the game pretty much. Now yesterday I spent about 2 to 3 hours trying to trade Diablo 4, and I was able to get my friend to change his rogue build into our latest rogue build if you haven't checked it out. He was having trouble with tier 40, tier 50 at level 95. Now he can easily solo tier 60 on level 95. It's incredible, right? So trading is definitely optional, and definitely look into this to make a lot of gold or get some really good items. Now if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, no-meta builds, leveling up, and also paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates, and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed. So make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4.